Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and welcome back to the mini-series where I try to help you climb the ranks of competitive Overwatch. Now, this is one of 80 million mini-series on my channel that I started a long time ago, where I set forth to try to give you specific tips to help you climb from a specific rank to the next rank. Because so many people ask me, oh, Bro You Whack, how do I climb out of silver? How do I climb out of gold? And I can give you lots of tips on how to climb, but it's gonna be various tips that I learned along the way. That being said, these are also tips that I took into account to help me try to climb the ranks of Overwatch, which a lot of people seem to misconstrue my tips and thinking that that is the correct way to climb in Overwatch, and that's not at all true. It's my way that I climbed in Overwatch. I feel like my way of coaching can only be my way of coaching if I told you how I do it. Plus, I didn't want to overwhelm you with 20 different tips that might not apply in the lower ranks, which is why I separated out from rank to rank. Now, that's not to say that the tips I give you from like silver to gold only apply to silver and gold and not to like platinum players or bronze players. No, every single tip can apply for every single player, but I just try my best to help you focus on areas that might only apply at the rank that you're specifically at. And today, the rank that we're specifically going to be looking at are diamond rank players, and I'm going to be trying my best to give you tips on how to climb to the master rank. Now, the first tip or really advice that I want to give you that I needed to adopt when climbing from the diamond rank to master rank is the kind of mindset that I needed to have to be able to, well, not only get in masters, but also to stay in master, and that is to play what you're good at, but then switch to what's meta. And that might go against a lot of the videos that you've watched on YouTube or even my videos, because everyone's talking about the meta or talking about the popular heroes. But the thing about the meta is that that only should matter when everyone is at the same skill level, when everybody knows how to aim, play the heroes, position themselves, ult track. Everyone that is basically in the Grandmaster upwards are gonna be that exact same skill level, which is where they're gonna get that extra edge by playing the meta, by playing the heroes that are most popular, by playing the most effective tactic available. So when you're swimming in the diamond rank, yeah, the meta still matters. Don't twist my words around and think that the meta should be thrown out the window, but when you're playing against people that aren't considering the meta or aren't really good at the meta, when you're gonna be playing a hero that you're good at, you're gonna be able to exploit so many of the enemy's mistakes because you know how to play the hero inside and out. Whereas if you play a hero that is meta, like say Lucio right now, but you don't know how to play Lucio, you don't know how to wall ride and being able to switch songs and just be a Frogger Overwatch player, then it's not really gonna matter if you're playing a meta hero. So that's why I titled this tip, play what you're good at, but then switch the meta, because at the beginning of the game, if you go in playing the hero that you're comfortable with and you're steamrolling, then you're playing the hero that you're comfortable with and you're steamrolling. It doesn't matter what you should have been playing at the beginning because you are winning, and that's the ultimate goal. So for the longest time, the 4 heroes that I basically mastered and I was comfortable with were Mei, Soldier, Orisa, and Moira. And a lot of the times when I find myself dropping out of Masters and going into Diamond, I was trying to play heroes like Lucio or Reinhardt or Zarya, like really meta heroes, yeah, but I wasn't good with. So I'll need to play the Mei or I need to play the Moira because those were the heroes that I was most comfortable with and I could contribute to the team even though they probably weren't meta at the time. It was only in times where I would play a hero like Soldier, who I'm obviously comfortable with, but not only was the enemy team playing a meta composition, but they were just straight up better than me. So because they were better than me and I was playing an unmeta hero, I didn't get that extra edge that I otherwise would have gotten if I would have switched on to a different DPS like Hanzo or Doomfist. Now the second tip might be like a duh forehead moment, but any of these tips could be a duh forehead moment, but I just try to cover in all areas of Overwatch. You might already know this, you might be an expert, but it's a good reminder to know all of the heroes' positions. Snipers on high ledges, healers in the far back like Ana, and then Reinhardt at the front controlling the fight or controlling the push. It's also good to understand why those heroes are positioned that way, because so many times I would be wondering, why do I need to be on a high far away ledge with Soldier? Well, it's because I should be able to hit my shots with a hit scan like Soldier because I'm obviously skilled, I should obviously know how to hit things, but the enemy team won't be able to hit me unless they have a Widow or a Hanzo or just some kind of sniper that can contest me. If they don't, I should be able to get free range and damage on everybody because I can hit them, but they can't hit me. Or if you want to look at more advanced positioning, and I'm using air quotes here because maybe you already know this, but maybe like with flankers, with Doomfist, needing to know where to position yourself that you can get good rocket punches so that you can be able to send yourself at a diagonal angle without needing to use your cooldowns, or where you should position yourself is so that you can target a specific hero so that you won't get stopped. Just stuff like that is very important, crucial, that just really comes with time and practice. And I'm foreshadowing here, but again, it's not like only diamond players can benefit from knowing where to position themselves, but I really noticed that in my experience that the times that I was dropping back to diamond, it's because I was getting tunnel vision and leaving my designated spot with, like, say, a hit scan, or when it came to my healers, or with Zenyatta, or if I was playing Mei and I was being a little bit too aggro. Like, a lot of times I would see me push up to the front line, but like past the Reinhardt, because I was just so aggressive in tunnel vision. I wanted to stop their Reinhardt. I need to be able to just calm down a little bit and realize that I can still play in the front lines, but not past my tanks. This next tip is harder than it seems, because at least for me, I'm not good at multitasking, which is why I feel drained after like a 3-hour stream, because I'm having to play and read at the same time. But this is ult and cooldown tracking. So literally all the pros do this in Overwatch League, like it's secondhand nature. They literally get paid salaries, hundreds of thousands of dollars, just to be able to ult track and cooldown track for their DPS players. But it's starting to be more and more crucial when you start to get into that diamond rank, because you already know how to aim. You should be knowing how to position yourself. So now you really need to be timing out your ultimates and really see the flow of the game and how the enemy team is going to be using their ultimates, or better yet, timing out when the enemies use their cooldowns, because that's more ready available to help stop you. But just an easy example that I can use is tracking how good the Zarya is doing on the enemy team, so that if you're playing Lucio or Zenyatta and you have your ultimate coming up, that you can obviously save your ult to counter their Zarya ult, or maybe combining the two, ult tracking and cooldown tracking when you're playing someone like Diva, so that you can save your defense matrix for an up and coming fight, so that you can possibly eat the Zarya grab, which for me is a little bit harder than it looks, but more importantly, saving defense matrix so that you can eat the Honor Grenade, so that your Zenyatta can help counter the Zarya grab and everyone can get healed. It's little stuff like that you might not realize is crucial, but being able to eat that grenade means that you live a fight, meaning that you can use your ultimates, meaning that you can possibly win the next team fight, all because you just ult tracked, and not only that, you cooldown tracked, realizing that the grenade was coming. Now, obviously, there's tens of thousands of other cooldown tracking things that are important for other heroes, like with Reaper's ultimate, you need to be sure that you don't use it when the McCree has their flashbang or Brigida has their bash, or someone like Mei that just doesn't use their ultimate on an Orisa that still has Fortify, or Zarya that has their self bubble, or maybe using a Soldier ultimate against a Baptiste that still has Immortality Field possibly still. Like, there are so many cooldown tracking things that are important for heroes that this would become a 30-minute video if I went into detail, but realizing that abilities could easily counter you just as much as ultimates, or that your abilities could easily counter their ultimates or their abilities. It's just being able to identify how the flow of the game is, so that it helps determine when you use abilities or when you use ultimates. Now, for the fourth tip to try to climb from Diamond to Masters, which once again could benefit at any rank, but especially at the Diamond rank I see the most, is that you need to have communication, but I'm going to be rephrasing it, and that is to listen to your in-game leader, or just listen to callouts. I'm not saying you need to talk, because I realize that if I give the tip that you need to go into game chat, or that you need to try to talk to your people in your team, that people get mad at me for suggesting that. So I'm just going to stop, and I'm going to tell you that you can still go into match chat. You don't have to talk. If someone's being toxic, you can easily mute them, but being on the same page is so crucial, because one plan is better than two plans, because that means maximum effort and maximum efficiency is going into making that plan work. If that plan doesn't work, more than likely the enemy team was probably just better than you, but at least you can recognize that you tried your best trying to ult combo, like with your Reinhardt Earthshatter with one of your DPS ults, you just got outbeat, or being able to focus on one specific enemy because they are out of position and you can't do much because you're just a lonely healer, or maybe you're an Ana and you see a flanking Roadhog on the right side and you sleep them, but because you're stuck in a Discord call or in party chat, no one else can help you kill the Roadhog because everybody else has a different plan. And you might get mad at your teammates because, why aren't they killing the Roadhog? It's pretty obvious, but they're probably so fixated on something else. You'd be surprised at how many people do get tunnel vision, but tunnel vision on trying to make a plan work, because they're trying to earth shatter people, they're trying to grab, they're not trying to account for a flanking Roadhog because, well, it's a flanking Roadhog. They're focused on the front line. Also taking into account ult combinations like I mentioned before, or ability cooldown tracking. Like, there's so much important information that you gain from just listening in the game. And if you don't want to talk, that's fine. If you don't want to go in a match chat, that's also fine. Like, no one's forcing you to do anything, and I don't know why people get mad at me for suggesting that. In earlier years, I might have been taken like I was arrogant against social anxiety, but just like everyone, I learned and I educated myself, but I shouldn't get crucified for suggesting communicating with your team. It's not like if you communicate or listen to your team that you'll never ever get into master rank, but I really do see the benefit in the diamond rank because this is where people are starting to take things a lot more serious. And because people are taking this game a lot more serious, this next and final tip is important at all ranks, but I feel like, especially at the diamond to master rank, is to practice. People always ask for the secret to get better at Overwatch, and for me and for everybody else, whether in Overwatch League or they're the best bronze player, they will all say, and if they don't say this, they're probably wrong, is to practice. Practice aiming, practice using abilities, practice using your ult, practice good habits, because if you're practicing bad habits, then yes, that won't get you anywhere. So don't just practice what you've been doing that has been getting you stuck in the same rank. Learn the game of Overwatch. Learn the reasons as to why Ana is played or how Orisa is played so that you can exploit their weaknesses or when they're likely to use their abilities or when the Mei is going to use their ice block so that you as McCree know that you can wait for them to use their ice block and then use flashbang. Like, there are just so many ways that you can practice, but also just sharpen your skills and continue to practice on top of playing Overwatch as much as possible. Because like I mentioned before, a lot more people are taking this game serious and playing a lot more often. And if your mind is not on Overwatch, like with school or with work or with sports, which is all good, like those are responsibilities. Don't think for a second I'm saying that you need to ditch your responsibilities to play Overwatch because that's more important. No, Overwatch is not more important than work, school, or whatever you need to do. But what I'm saying is, if you have the time to play or practice, do that so that you can be on top of your game, because you realize that your reaction time is a lot less fast because your mind isn't in the state of Overwatch. If you play constantly and if you remind your mind how to play the game, then you're just gonna be in a lot more better of a flow state. Take a football player in season compared to off season that hasn't touched a football in 2 months, and the in season football player will be a lot better than the off season player. Are they two completely different people? Not really, assuming that they don't eat a lot in the off season. They're just in the state of football. And those are my tips on how to climb from diamond to master. Again, I hope people don't take this like me trying to say, follow these tips and it's guaranteed, or follow these tips and if you don't, you're never gonna climb to master. No, if you have your way and it's working, then continue to do that. I'm just trying to help anyone that's willing to listen on my story on how I got into the specific ranks. And if you don't want to listen, that's fine. And it's also a good reminder of me on how I can get better, because sometimes I forget the core fundamentals of positioning or just straight up practicing. And hopefully this video does help you. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.